Jeff, can you talk a little bit about how, like, if you get a list like that that doesn't have an email, how you would gather the email addresses so that you can reach out to them via phone, reach out to them via mail, and then ideally via email as well?
Well, first of all, please understand that when you get a list or data, you have to constantly be working on that list. I hear all the time, I bought a list of 1,000 from InfoUSA, for example, and your parameter was, $1 million plus to $5 million because you think that's going to be your sweet spot. And then think about it from a state perspective as well. If you're doing something like fencing, for example, you'd be better off selling your services across the bottom of the United States, or do a simple search that says, which cities or states are growing in fencing, who wants more protection. So you got to work this list down. But as you do that, then there's a lot of good stuff. You can use Sales Navigator if you go into LinkedIn. If you have the Sales Navigator account for, I think it's $79 a month, that will get you access to their private email most of the time, not necessarily the business one, because most people use their private email address on that. And then I use Fiverr a lot. So there's a lot of guys and gals on Fiverr that do a great job. And whenever I have a list, I use 3 different people. So I use the first person that gets the majority of them. Then I take whatever's left over and I send it off to the next guy. And he'll get 50% of those because he knows tricks that the first guy didn't know. And then finally the third, and then I'm done. And as I'm going along, I'm constantly pairing off all the stuff.
So you're saying you'll hire 3 guys on Fiverr, and all of them come at it from a different angle?
That's right. 3 different.
To scrape the list.
Well, usually I'm giving them the list because, again, I'm a big believer in buying a list versus scraping a list. Both work, but I want to have in my CRM that ability to actually track clients within my niche, because not everybody is sitting here like Josh is today. Now, remember, he wasn't there 7 years ago, but you want a list that you at least know if you're doing carpet cleaning. Well, I know they're a carpet cleaner. I know they're doing at least $1 million a year. And then what I mean by working the list is then, and I've done this, you get that one criteria, like they need a full-time receptionist to know they're big enough. And I just hire somebody in the Philippines, and they just call and ask one question. Whatever that one, no more than 3 questions. And pretty soon your list of 1,000, you couldn't find emails for 200 of them. Then you can use a tool like hunter.io, double check all of your emails. Let's say you lost another 100, and then somebody picked up the phone, you're now at 700, and they called and asked you 1 or 2 questions. How many trucks do you have? Do you have a full-time receptionist? And all of a sudden that 1,000 is now down about 400. But what do you know at this point in time? You know they're doing more than $1 million. You know they're still in business. You've confirmed they have a full-time receptionist or 3 trucks or whatever. So when you finally do the one part that Josh talks about, which is critical, the cold outreach, you know all that, so your odds have went up dramatically. But what I see happen all the time is, I scrape the list using Lead Kahuna, which Lead Kahuna is a great tool if you're doing cold email outreach. But I scraped this list and I just started calling. And my last 3 salespeople have all quit. Okay, what happened? Well, only thing I can tell you about the list you got off of Lead Kahuna was somewhere out on the internet, they had the word carpet cleaning and an email address. That's what you know, nothing else. So even if you buy an InfoUSA list and it's 80% right, you're still starting with something, is my point.
Do you ever use Manta?
I don't know what they use.
You said Manta, by the way, for
Yeah,
those
Manta.
in the back.
But I don't know. I don't get involved in how they come up with the email list. All I do when I put a Fiverr posting up, or if you're a user of Upwork, is that I stipulate they have to use Hunter.io and they'll get certain price. And someone will come back and say they don't have the account, and I have an account anyway, so I just use my account. But I want them to clean the list as much as possible. Well, again, what I see too often is, hey, I got a list of 1,000, I threw them in, I started calling, the list is bad. And then I'm done with cold outreach. Versus, here's your list of 350 or 400, we know all these things about it, and we're actually getting to a carpet cleaning company that's got a full-time receptionist. Now, why a full-time receptionist? Well, you probably need 3 trucks or 4 trucks. So see, a lot of people, you call them and said, hey, how many trucks you got? They may not, like, well, what are you asking for? You know, but they don't know that you're not calling for a job interview if you call, hey, do you have a full-time receptionist? No, click, move on. You know, I just see too many people trying to hold on to these pieces of bad information. That's kind of my point. Glean it down. You know, Dan Kennedy always talks about you want to glean your list at least 5 steps. You know, and you've got to figure out what those 5 are for your niche.
Well, I hope you got great value from that video. If you'd like more ideas, strategies, and techniques on how to really grow and scale your digital marketing agency, I'd like to invite you to join me. I run a free group on Facebook called Local Marketing Agency Success. And there I just shared my best ideas and strategies on how to land clients on a consistent basis, how to serve them and really knock it out of the park for them, and how to retain your clients at the highest level possible. So would love to have you join us there. To get there, you can just type in sevenfigureagency.com/group. That's sevenfigureagency.com/group. It'll take you to the Facebook group, and I'll get you added right away. Look forward to seeing you in there. Talk to you soon.